Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a topic that's often sold as a quick fix, but this guide we're looking at treats it completely differently. It's framed as a path of serious, structured discipline. So let's dive in and see what that path actually involves.
Right, so what are we really talking about when we say a disciplined routine? Well, this guide breaks it all down. It's a whole system, really. It covers everything from the initial prep work and the core exercises, all the way to building endurance and even making some pretty big lifestyle changes.
Okay, first things first, the foundation. Like any serious physical practice, you can't just jump straight into the deep end. The guide is super clear about this. You absolutely have to prepare your body first. This isn't just a suggestion, it's critical for making sure you're safe and that the whole thing is actually effective.
And that preparation starts with something pretty simple, a warm-up. We're talking about a basic hot compress. You just soak a washcloth in some hot but not scalding water, wring it out, and wrap it around the shaft for about a minute. You do that a few times over 5 minutes. The whole point here is to get the blood flowing and make the tissue a lot more flexible and ready for the real work ahead.
All right, once everything is properly warmed up, we move on to Section 2, stretching and elongation. Now, this is where the real discipline starts to kick in. The guide makes it very clear this isn't something you can rush. It's all about patience and a whole lot of precision.
So what does that look like? Well, it's a pretty intense 25 to 30-minute routine. You start by gripping the head, firmly but safely of course, and pulling straight forward for a full 5 minutes. Then, you repeat that same 5-minute hold in 4 other directions. Straight up, straight down, left, and right. And yeah, you heard that right. Each direction is held for 5 whole minutes.
But here's something that's absolutely crucial, and the guide really hammers this point home. Rest. After every single one of those 5-minute pulls, you have to take a 1-minute break to restore circulation. The guide even suggests twirling it a bit. And this isn't optional. It's mandatory. It's all about safety and preventing any kind of injury.
Okay, so the tissue is warmed up, it's stretched, now the routine shifts gears. We're moving into exercises that are designed specifically for building girth and boosting circulation. In the centerpiece of this section is an exercise called jelqing. You might have heard of it. The guide describes it as a sort of milking motion. It's a hands-on technique, and to do it right, you need 2 things. Good lubrication, and, really importantly, a very specific semi-erect state. So how does it work exactly? You start by making that classic A-OK sign with your thumb and index finger. You use that to grip the base of the shaft firmly, and then you slide your hand all the way from the base to the head. The key here is the pacing. Each stroke should take about 3 seconds, and you alternate hands, so it's this smooth, continuous, rhythmic motion. And this isn't something you just jump into at full force. As you can see from the schedule, it's all about progression. You're not trying to do 1,000 of these on day 1. You start in week 1 with maybe 200 to 300 strokes, and then week by week, you gradually ramp it up. More strokes, more time, and more pressure. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Now let's talk about safety again, because the guide brings it up over and over. First, lubrication is a must. We're talking massage oil, Vaseline, something like that. Whatever you do, never use soap. Second, and this is huge, you have to be in that semi-erect state. If you get fully hard, you need to ease off and wait for it to go down a bit. It's this middle ground that's the sweet spot for safety and results. All right, so we've covered the external physical exercises. Now the guide takes a turn and dives into building internal muscle control and endurance. This next part is all about training a very specific muscle, one that you probably don't think about too often.
And that muscle is the pubococcygeus, or PC muscle for short. The guide lays out a plan to strengthen it, and the long-term goal it sets is, well, it's pretty ambitious. We're talking about working up to 1,000 PC clamps, or squeezes, every single day. So what exactly is a PC clamp? Well, to make it super clear, the guide breaks it down into 2 different movements. First, there's the squeeze, or clamp. That's the exact same muscle you use to stop peeing midstream. Then there's the push out, which is the opposite, the motion you'd use to force urine out faster. The idea is that you need to get a feel for both of these distinct actions to really master control.
And this is where that muscle control gets put to the test, in a technique called delay and harden. You can see the progression here. Basically, it's a way to train ejaculatory control. You get yourself right to the edge of orgasm, and then you stop. You squeeze the base of your erection for 30 seconds. Then you repeat the process, but next time you squeeze for 45 seconds, then a minute, and you keep adding time. The ultimate goal is to hold that control for minutes on end.
Okay, we're nearing the end of the routine. This final section is all about putting the finishing touches on the daily workout. We're talking about supporting exercises and a proper cool down. This is what ties the whole thing together into one complete regimen.
And you might be surprised by this, but a big part of that is a pretty intense glute flexing sequence. And this is way more than just, clenching your butt. It's a whole routine, with slow warm-up flexes, then sets of 50 fast ones, and even sets where you just hold the flex until you literally start to tremble. It's all designed to strengthen that entire pelvic floor.
And just like you started with a warm-up, you have to end with a cool down. This part is just as important. It's pretty simple. A gentle massage for a few minutes, maybe another warm compress, or even just placing it in a bowl of lukewarm water. The whole idea is just to soothe the tissue after all that work. Finally, the guide zooms way out to the big picture, which it calls the porn star routine. And this isn't just an exercise. It's a full-on lifestyle commitment. We're talking about sticking with those PC flexes for months, eating right, drinking a ton of water, like 200 ounces a day, getting enough sleep, and even holding off on ejaculation for a few days before sex. It's about getting all these different factors working together.
So, when you look at the whole thing, what's the big takeaway? It's that this guide isn't selling a magic pill. Not at all. It's laying out a long, structured, and demanding discipline. The real message here is that change comes from consistency. The process is the purpose. And that kind of leaves you with a bigger thought, doesn't it? In any kind of self-improvement, maybe the real win isn't just the final result, but the dedication you show to the process itself.